They smile, they praise, they support, but beneath the velvet is a blade, waiting for one rash reaction. You felt it before. The sting when someone you trusted twists your words. The slow regret when kindness reveals itself as leverage. The confusion that doesn't feel like betrayal, but like doubting your own footing. That is the true face of manipulation. It doesn't storm the gates. It seeps in quietly. It makes you question yourself before you ever question them. The Stoics were blunt about this. If you don't define your values, someone else will assign your worth. And once you hand that over, you've already surrendered the battle. This isn't about spotting every manipulator in the crowd. It's about reclaiming the only battlefield that matters, your mind. Because when you master your response, when you anchor yourself in clarity, no mask, no tactic, no whisper can control you without your consent. Clarity is not a slogan. It's a shield. It's the discipline that makes you untouchable. It's the foundation for every other move of power. If clarity is your path, then walk with us. Step off the stage they built for you. Step into the ground you've built for yourself. And from that ground, rule. Number 1, see and pretend not to. They think you're blind. They think their charm hides the claws. But you see. You always see. Still, you don't strike. Not yet. Because the first move belongs to the desperate, the reckless. And you are neither. Predators feed on reaction. They poke. They prod. They test. Every flicker in your eyes, every shift in your voice, they measure. They calibrate. They plan. So you give them nothing, not a word, not a twitch. You starve their hunt. You let their hunger turn inward until it corrodes their composure. And here's the paradox. When people believe you aren't tracking them, they relax. They grow careless. Their masks slip. Their tongues loosen. Their patterns harden. And in that carelessness, they spill the truth. They hand you the map to their own ruin. This is not weakness. This is patience, forged into a weapon. This is reconnaissance. Every withheld reaction becomes leverage. Every heartbeat of silence becomes rope they tighten around their own neck. You're not ignoring the threat. You're sharpening the blade. You're mapping the battlefield. You're waiting for the kill shot. See everything. Signal nothing. Because when you finally move, it won't be clumsy defense. It will be precision. It will be domination. It will be conquest. The moment where your control of yourself becomes absolute control over them. Number 2, let their words die in silence. They mistake noise for truth. They think volume can make a lie breathe. They fling accusations like torches, desperate for a crowd to ignite. So do nothing. Silence devours their script. Words need a pulse to live. Your pulse is the audience. Deny it. Starve their fire. Let their sentences hang, unfinished, thin, absurd. Watch the confident cadence fracture into hedges and repeats. Watch bravado collapse into babble. This is deliberate quiet, not cowardice. It is a boundary carved in air. I heard you. I will not enter your theater. When you hold the silence, their performance decays. Their accusations lose rhythm. Their power withers. Doubt creeps in like rot. Calm is not the absence of force. It is force compressed into a single, immovable point. The quieter you are, the louder their uncertainty grows. They scramble to fill the void you've made. They claw at the silence with excuses, contradictions, and fear. Use silence as refusal. Use silence as grammar. It tells the room what matters and what dies in the air. It warns manipulators. Your presence is not bait. Your attention is not prey. Hold silence like a shield. Breathe slower than they speak. Let them choke on their own echoes. And when you finally break it, if you break it, speak with the weight of judgment, not the tremor of defense. One measured sentence will cut through noise like a blade, shattering their rhythm, owning the moment. Let their words die where they fall. And in the vacuum you've created, truth has room to reveal itself, and you, unmoved, unprovoked, stand as the one who controls not only the silence, but the entire room.
Hey guys, we're Strategy, based in Abu Dhabi. We use AI tools to make these concepts come to life, but it's our amazing team who goes deep, breaking down powerful philosophical ideas and showing how they really apply in everyday life. We hope you enjoyed today's content.
Number 3. Own the frame, not the argument. They will try to shove you into a role you never chose. They will script the play, assign the lines, and wait for you to defend yourself inside their theater. That's the trap. The reflex is to set the record straight, to argue, to explain. But the moment you argue inside their frame, you've already lost, because you accepted their stage. Step off it, refuse the audition, burn the script they wrote for you. Your power doesn't come from rebuttals. It comes from consistency. It comes from a rhythm so steady it drowns their noise. Lead with action, not explanations. Do the work again and again until the pattern speaks louder than rumor. Integrity isn't a speech, it's a drumbeat. It's repetition of what you are, until even the whispers collapse under the weight of results. When you stop begging to be understood, misunderstanding suffocates. When you stop auditioning for clarity, rumor runs out of air. When you stop reacting, their stage goes dark. Own the frame by refusing to be dragged into theirs. Make your silence, your results, your unbending pattern the new ground. Force them to stand on it. And the only ones still shouting inside the old frame will look like fools screaming into an empty room, while you, wordless and steady, own the entire theater. Number 4. Disrupt the circle. Quietly. They never act alone. Manipulators draw their strength from circles, glances, whispers, implied loyalties. One to plant the seed, another to water it, a third to nod at the right time. It's not one voice you're facing. It's a choir, a swarm, the weak charge at the hive head-on. They try to shout down the group, confront the circle, set the record straight. That only hardens their unity. It gives them a common enemy. It makes you look like the threat. You know better. You tilt the balance, quietly, surgically. Step past the theater. Engage the players one by one. Ask real questions. Listen without judgment. Plant the seed of individuality. Reward the smallest flicker of independent thought. Make each person feel seen as a sovereign being, not as a pawn in someone else's scheme. This is not gossip. This is not counter-rumor. This is presence as a weapon, clarity, steadiness, directness, a force no whisper can match. And then it happens. The glances don't land the same way. The nods grow hesitant. The threads slacken. People feel the weight of their own choices again. You haven't smashed the circle. You've shifted its gravity. You've turned the center hollow. The manipulator is left shouting into a room that no longer echoes back. This is influence without noise, power without spectacle, one person at a time, one silent tilt at a time. And the alliance dissolves, not with a fight, but with abandonment. You haven't just broken their hold, you've absorbed it. And now you stand where their power used to be. Number 5. Reveal with questions, not accusations. Accusation is a blunt weapon. It makes you the aggressor, and the manipulator, suddenly, the victim. That's their script. If you point the finger, you're acting in their play. But a question is a mirror. It shines light without raising your voice. It forces them to hear themselves, without you ever striking the blow. Calm, precise, surgical. Didn't you say the opposite last week? No heat, no theater, just daylight. Just their own words turned back at them like a blade. Questions dismantle without spectacle. They leave no hooks to grab, no drama to exploit. Because when you accuse, they fight you. When you question, they fight themselves. People rarely change when attacked. But when they collide with their own contradictions, when their mask slams into their memory, that's when the unraveling begins. You don't win by shouting them down. You win by letting silence and questions do the cutting. One calm incision at a time. Each question, a scalpel. Each silence, a trap. Until the mask isn't just cracked, it's gone. Number 6, become useful and lightly scarce. In a world of noise, usefulness is power, not loud promises, not frantic defenses, but clean value, delivered without drama. Bring order where others bring chaos. Solve the problem no one else dares to touch. Be the steady hand in a room of shaking voices. That is how you become indispensable. But here's the turn. Never drown them in your presence. Scarcity sharpens worth. Control access. Pace your availability. Offer the answer, then withdraw. Let them feel the gap when you are gone. Your absence becomes a mirror. It reminds them of the clarity, the competence, the order you carry. And in that absence, your influence grows louder than any speech. This is not servitude, it is standard setting. You are not a servant. They orbit your gravity. Competence with detachment is unplayable. They cannot manipulate what they depend on. They cannot cheapen what they cannot always reach. Be useful, be scarce, and watch how quickly the board tilts in your favor. You are no longer just the solution. You are the center of necessity, and necessity rules everything. Number 7, mirror their energy without absorbing it. A mirror does not react. It does not absorb. It reflects. That is your posture, unmoved tone, unblinking eyes, crisp, surgical questions. No sarcasm to feed them, no spikes to clash against, only reflection, clear, cold, undeniable. With no friction, their theatrics stand naked. The shouting sounds shrill, the gestures look desperate, the act exposes itself. And here's the beauty. Without resistance, they scramble to fill the void. They over-explain, they contradict, they collapse under the weight of their own performance. Your silence is the frame. Your calm is the pressure. The louder they grow, the thinner the mask becomes. You don't absorb their energy. You don't fight them head-on. You simply reflect until the truth drags itself into daylight, and they unravel without you ever lifting a hand. Number 8, kill the pattern with stillness. Manipulation feeds on chaos, on the sudden flare of emotion, on the frantic reply, on the unguarded shift. Volatility is their hunting ground, so you kill the pattern with stillness. Build rhythm into your life. Wake at the same hour. Decide by values, not moods. Answer messages on your time, not theirs. Forge a cadence so steady, so deliberate, that nothing rattles you off it. Predictability to yourself makes you unreadable to them. They can't bait what doesn't lunge. They can't twist what doesn't bend. They can't time what refuses to dance on their cue. Structure is a shield. Routine is armor. Order is sovereignty. They find no chaos to exploit, only walls too smooth to grip. And boredom? Boredom is freedom. When drama knocks and finds no reaction, it withers. It starves. It hunts elsewhere. Stillness is not stagnation. It is command. It is the refusal to dance to another's rhythm. You move only when you decide. You strike only when it serves you. Kill the pattern. Starve the volatility. And you'll never again be a puppet in someone else's play. You'll be the one holding the strings. Number 9. Build a fortress, not a cage. Even the strongest collapse when the room is weak. Power leaks through the cracks of a toxic circle. Whispers corrode. Theatrics distort. Ambiguity chokes. So you build carefully. You build a fortress, never a cage. Curate your environment as a sovereign guards their walls. Choose allies who can hold truth without theatrics. People who cut through tension instead of dressing it in disguise. Voices that deal not in innuendo, but in clarity. Because honesty is oxygen. It clears the air. It sharpens the mind. It steadies the will. Ambiguity is poison, slow, invisible, relentless. The wrong circle will bleed you dry long before an enemy ever arrives. This is not isolation. This is architecture. A fortress protects. A cage suffocates. The difference is who you let inside. Choose the air you breathe, because strength is never solitary. It multiplies, or it rots, through the walls around you. The wise do not just guard their mind, they guard their ground, and in guarding it, they rule it. Number 10, give rope, then wait. The urge to expose is emotional. It feels righteous. It feels urgent. But urgency is a trap. Premature exposure hardens the mask. It gifts the liar more time, more sympathy, more room to maneuver. So don't rip it off. Give rope, then wait. Let the performance run unchecked. Overconfidence breeds carelessness. Carelessness breeds cracks. One slip becomes a pattern. One pattern becomes consensus. And consensus delivers the judgment no argument ever could. Your role is patience incarnate. Step back. Hold the silence. Let the stage burn itself down. The louder they act, the thinner the disguise becomes. The thinner the disguise, the more the truth bleeds through. Timing beats proof. Because when the moment arrives, you won't need to shout. You won't need to argue. You'll only need to point. And the room will already see. You didn't expose them. They exposed themselves. You simply waited long enough to make it undeniable. Number 11. Redirect instead of defend. Accusations are bait. They're not built to prove anything. They're built to drag you into a maze of implication. Every defense pulls you deeper into their walls until you're lost in their design. So don't defend. Redirect. One calm question cuts straighter than 10 frantic explanations. What makes you think that? No spike, no sarcasm, just precision. Because manipulation thrives in vagueness, but it stumbles under detail. Force them into specifics, and the shadows dissolve. Half-truths shrink when pinned to daylight. Rumors fracture when pressed for evidence. And then, wait. Do not rescue them from the silence. Do not cushion the weight of their own words. Let the pause stretch until it becomes unbearable. Let them squirm in the echo of what they cannot prove. In that stillness, the line is drawn. The air splits clean, and everyone watching can see it. Who stands on truth, and who hides behind smoke. Number 12. Be tactically unavailable manipulators thrive on urgency. Manufactured, exaggerated, relentless. They hammer at your door with fire in their eyes, demanding you sprint to put out flames they lit themselves. Stop running. Be tactically unavailable. Delay what is not urgent. Decline their manufactured crises. Refuse to live as a servant of alarms. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They separate signal from noise, connection from control. And here's the truth. When you slow the pace, the masks rip loose. Those who sought control bristle at your delay. Those who sought connection respect it. Strategic gaps expose intent. Your time is not an open tap. It is a privilege. The more you treat it as such, the more others are forced to bend to that reality. Presence is power, but absence, applied with precision, is sovereignty. It makes the manipulator choke on their own urgency. It forces the world to orbit your tempo, not the other way around. Number 13. reward, results, not speeches. Words are cheap. Loyalty is cheaper. Anyone can preach it, promise it, perform it when the cost is low. But pressure strips the mask. It reveals the split between actors and allies. Track patterns, not promises. Who showed up when it was inconvenient? Who delivered when it was expensive? Who stood firm without applause, without witnesses, without reward? Those are the ones you keep. Everyone else is noise. Praise consistency, not declarations. Value the quiet doers over the loud proclaimers. Because when you reward speeches, you attract performers. When you reward results, you attract the rare and the real. This is how you filter a circle, not with rhetoric, but with receipts, not with pledges, but with proof. Celebrate patterns, not words, and watch how quickly the actors drift away, while the solid remain. That is how you turn a circle into a fortress, one proven loyalty at a time. Number 14. Use kindness. Precisely. They expect fury. They want the explosion, the raised voice, the storm they can point to and say, "See, there's the villain." Do not give them the luxury. Offer composure instead. Polite clarity, measured words, kindness, delivered with precision, like a blade hidden in silk. This is not softness. It is strategy. Because nothing unnerves a manipulator more than calm they cannot provoke. No anger to feed on, no chaos to twist, no scene to exploit. Be gracious, be firm, state your boundary without venom, then walk away. No ashes, no theater, just an empty stage, and when the curtain falls, they'll have no villain to point to. Only the silence of their own performance collapsing around them. You didn't just withhold rage. You stole their script, and without a script, they have nothing. Number 15. Never teach them a lesson. The urge to teach them a lesson is nothing but ego in costume. It feels righteous, it feels powerful, but it's exactly what they want. Another arena, another stage, another chance to twist the script. Lectures don't land, they spin. They hand manipulators fresh material to distort. So don't lecture. Withdraw. Withdraw your attention. Withdraw your access. Withdraw your reaction. Because the greatest instruction isn't spoken. It's absence. It's the silence where your presence used to be. It's the locked door they no longer have the key to. Growth doesn't announce itself. It exits. And in that exit, the consequence teaches what words never could. Peace is the last word, and it's the one they can't rewrite. You didn't teach them. You left them in a vacuum where their own behavior echoes back louder than anything you could say. You don't win by being louder. You win by being unshakable. Choose presence over panic, questions over defenses, structure over storms. When the butt is offered, pause. When the story twists, build. When the room spins, be the still point. That is how you stop being prey. That is how you start becoming inevitable. If this struck something in you, don't stop here. The next chapter is discipline. Focus sharpened into a weapon, self-mastery forged into domination.
Thanks for spending time with us. If this sparked a new way of thinking, hit like and subscribe to keep the ideas flowing. And don't forget, check the description for the links to the original books and resources we used today. We'll see you in the next one.